Look, I guess any greater form of instability is unwelcome. Now Wagner is in Belarus, more mischief. How do you react?
Well, it perfectly shows what kind of neighbor we're living by. It's an unstable, volatile country and countries, because both of them, both participants in the war against Ukraine, are our neighbors, meaning Russia and Belarus. We've seen throughout the weekend what types of that volatility can show up. We've seen how fast a few brigades of mercenaries could move from Ukraine almost to 200 kilometers from Moscow itself. So it can give you an idea of how fast could they move if they were willing so through Russia, through Belarus, closer to NATO borders.
Right, but they can also just simply cause mayhem and mischief on your borders and a destabilizing effect within your borders.
Exactly. I mean, they can create all types of provocations. Expect to have some sort of level of deniability, meaning that they have a distance from any sort of the government, expecting not to receive any reciprocal answer for their provocations. But we have to be very clear that we know who they are. We know their connection to the government. So the response would be to either government, to Belarusian or Russian government.
Two meetings, EU Council and NATO summit. Now, in both of those meetings, there's going to be a greater push to advance Ukraine's membership. Admittedly, there are numerous obstacles, probably too many to go through. How do you advance the argument within both of those fora?
Well, we've been trying to argument even long before the war, even since 2008, when the first mentioning of Ukraine being possibly a member of NATO appeared in political documents in Bucharest. But now I think that what we see, even with the latest events, is a very clear reminder of what it means to live in the neighborhood of Russia. That gray zones, such as Ukraine is currently, with some sort of an invitation since 2008, but not an actual membership, is a dangerous place to be. And if we want Ukraine to win this war and actually be a safe, secure, democratic country with full territorial integrity, Ukraine has to be invited. Ukraine has to have a guarantees of Article 5, being able to defend itself, and also, what is very important, to offer security to other neighbors in eastern flank as well, because we believe that Ukraine will be not just a recipient of security, but also they can offer security to others and themselves as well.
Right, but I look at the actions of your government, the purchases recently of missile defense systems very recently for Ukraine, the provision of more, and I look at what other countries are doing. I mean, isn't it time to get honest about this? De facto, NATO or the countries of the Allies are prosecuting this war through Ukraine. It's turned into a de facto proxy war. You're buying the weapons for them.
Look, I don't agree with this argument or with the statement. I think that Ukraine has shown throughout the year that they've been able to fight off and win number of battles. They won the battle for Kiev, for Kharkiv, for Kherson, and now they're pushing even further. And they're doing it at the cost of their lives, of their Ukrainian men and women. And yes, we provide them with armor. We provide them with tanks, with whatever we have on our hands. But NATO is not fighting this war. Ukraine is fighting this war, and when victory comes, it will be Ukrainian victory.
And to those who would say, because as this goes longer, then your own populace are going to raise questions. To those who would take your answer, Minister, and say, yeah, you're right, Ukraine's doing the war, but ... without the support and without the sophisticated armaments, they wouldn't be successful.
I think that what needs to be said, and the way, for example, Lithuania is seeing the war against Ukraine since last year, February 24th, is that if Putin was not stopped in Kiev by Ukrainians, then not having any real weaponry provided to them by the West, only after the Battle of Kiev, the real weaponry started to reach Ukraine. We have all believed very clearly that Putin will march on. And who knows where he will stop. So that means that Ukraine currently is not fighting just for its sovereignty and territorial integrity. It's actually defending it's defending Europe and what we call the security architecture of European continent. And I would think that it even goes further beyond that. Because if we're able to support Ukraine till their victory, if Ukraine is able to secure that victory, it shows to any other future potential aggressor, whoever he might find himself, is that the West or the global society is able to muster enough strength to push back and to defend the current security architecture, the global security architecture, where that makes us safe.
Understood, Minister. Thank you. Before we go, who is that in the photograph over your right shoulder?
That's my youngest daughter.
I thought it would be. It's such a problem. We had to know who we were looking at besides the good minister himself.
Thank you so much.